Okay, Baruchim Ubi Morar Watai. The special share with the Rabbi Reuven Leuchter Shlita. On behalf of Chazak, we want to thank the Shul, Mark Frankel, and everyone for overnight putting this all together. Rabbi Kent, thank you so much as well. Was asked to announce, this is very important, that the Rav is in the U.S. for fundraising for his Kailo Beis Mussar, and has many Torah programs. To sign up to hear more of the Rav's Shiurim and to get his Parsha emails, there will be a QR code and more info posted outside of the Bet Midrash, right outside over here. And to contribute to his programs with the settlement meeting with the Rav before Tuesday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, please speak to his Gabbai Simcha, who is right over there. So please feel free to speak to Reb Simcha. And just a quick word about the holy work of Chazak. As we all know, we live in Queens, and in Queens we have 10,000 Jewish kids, unfortunately, in the public school systems that are traditional families. They're not against Yiddishkeit, they just don't know any better. And we're on a mission, no child shall be left behind. Every single Jewish child deserves Jewish education. And we have after-school programs for these kids and Sunday school programs, teens division programs. We have a new youth center in 108, which is a big game changer. And most importantly, we have a yeshiva placement division where we've transferred, Baruch Hashem, over 1,600 kids, Baruch Hashem, the last few years alone from public schools to yeshiva, Chazei Hashem. It's a massive revolution, Chazei Hashem, Baruch Hashem, but we're not satisfied. We definitely want to do more, and we could do more, but everybody could do something. Nobody could do everything. So we need everyone to get involved. You have a family member, a friend, a neighbor, a coworker, anybody you might know that has a child in public schools. We all know public schools is not a place for a Yiddish child. Make sure to reach out to Chazak with a Q, Strengthening Queens. In position we should hear B'Sorah Torah. Without further ado, it's our covet, our honor, to invite Rabbi Reuven Leuchter Shlita to give us some divrei chizuk. B'chavod Rav.
We are experiencing now in the world a difficult situation for the Klal Yisrael, and we have to get rid of that way of looking at the thing that is very limiting, very narrow. It's a very narrow way of looking at it. That there's a problem going on in Eretz Yisrael, it's a war, and we have to try to be noisable and chaveiro with the war. That's a very narrow way of looking at it. Because when we look at the world as a whole, the world as a whole is really a place which is now, in these days, no, it's good like this. Don't make yourself crazy because of me, please. Yeah. So the whole world is a place of Antisemitism, which that's a big chiddush because that makes basically no sense. Because I have to put this on. No, someone is recording. That is good here too? You are sure?
I don't know. It's fine.
It's fine. So, in the whole world suddenly becomes anti-Semitic. So you can tell me, no, it's not suddenly. It was always there. It's only revealed. It's not that's not my opinion. But there is a worldwide tsunami of anti-Semitism going on now. So, and that goes from Los Angeles till Tokyo and till South Africa for sure, and wherever you want, from Norway till South Africa when you want. So the whole world is full with what is called anti-Semitism. So the whole thing which is going on in Eretz Yisrael is only one aspect of that whole problem. The Jewish nation is caught. The Jewish nation is caught in a place where there is an attack of the mere existence of the Jewish nation. Yeah? The Jewish nation is under attack, that there is a problem with the world on the Jewish nation. I sit in Eretz Yisrael, so the problem which is actually there in Eretz Yisrael, this is a physical problem, that people attack us in a physical way. But when you are on the world, there are other attacks going on. Is it verbal? Is it all different kind of other activities? But the Jewish nation is under attack. So when the Jewish nation is under attack, so the response is not some local chizuk. No. Because the local chizuk doesn't reach the depth of what is called the identity of the Jewish nation. Because the identity of the Jewish nation is under attack. So we have to do something. That's the wake-up call from the Borei Olam, that the Borei Olam looks like that he has a problem with the identity of the Jewish nation. He doesn't have a problem with our Shmira Shabbos. He doesn't have a problem with some specific mitzvah. No, he has a problem with the identity of the Jewish nation, because this identity of the Jewish nation is under attack. Yeah? Okay? So we have to think deeper. We have to think deeper than we have to make a chizuk here, a chizuk there. That is not answering the call, because a call goes deeper. In the secular language, you would call that, it is an existential call. Yeah? The existence of the Jewish nation is under question. Yeah? That's the existence is under question. It's not only the kiyum mitzvahs, it's the mere existence of the Jewish nation is under question. So that is, I think, what we are dealing with in this situation, that we deal now. So we have to respond. That is calling for a response. We have to do something about our Jewish identity, because that is the question. And the question is, what does it mean, Jewish identity? What does it mean? What does it mean, I have a Jewish identity? What does it mean? It's a genetic thing? No. But what means Jewish identity? What does that mean? It means Torah mitzvahs? No. Because when the Jews went out of Egypt, they didn't have any Torah mitzvahs, but they were definitely Jews. So Jewish identity goes much deeper than the Kiyum Torah mitzvahs. That's right. That's what it looks like. I don't know whether you are aware of that. For sure, I think you don't like it. But the Ramban says something very offending. Towards the end of Parshas Bo, there is a pasuk there in the Torah which says that the Jewish nation, Klal Yisrael, was in Egypt for 430 years. So the Ramban asks, but they were only 400 years when they spoke to Avraham Avinu. They were only 400 years in the plan. Why was it 430 years? So that's what he asks. Why was it 430 years? So the 430 years, the Ramban says, that comes from the fact that when you have a sentence in jail, not you, but someone has a sentence in jail for 10 years, but he behaves terribly in the jail, he will not be released. It's only the minimum is 10 years, but when you are doing further all the bad things, when you are in jail, they will not release you. Yeah? So that happened to the Jewish nation. They were 400 years in Galus, but they were, and now the Ramban says, Reshoim Gdoilim. Einom ruim to be taken out from Egypt. They were not worthwhile to be taken out. So in our modern words, the Jewish nation was a gang of gangsters. That's what they were. Reshoim Gdoilim means, in a very simple sense, the Reshoim. They were not Reshoim that they were eating Chelef, because there was no mitzvah. They were not Reshoim, they were Mechal Shabbos, there was no mitzvah. They were Reshoim in a very secular way. Very perceivable. Reshoim Gdoilim. So our nice yichus is that when we went out of Egypt, were one big gang of Avarianim. That was a Jewish nation. Nice, huh? You would have never thought about that. You thought they were so holy people. No, they were Reshoim G'dolim. But they davened. That's what he said. But they davened to the Borei Olam, and that's why he took them out. That's the Ramban. So you see, the identity of the Jewish nation is not Kiyum Torah Mitzvahs. Because even in Egypt, when there were no Kiyum Torah Mitzvahs, they were considered Reshoim. But they were still Jews, you know. There was a Jewish identity going on with being a Rosh Godel, but he's a Jew. Huh? So what does it mean? What does that mean? So this is a challenge for you, that you have to think about that yourself. Where do you see that your Jewish identity is located? That is a challenge. But the wake-up call is there. Rabbi say, I can't really understand. How do you think the wake-up call is in a certain chizuk in a mitzvah? Because it sounds to me very awkward that the anti-Semitism is all over. So that means that it's a credential thing, that in the New York area they make certain averas and that's why it's anti-Semitism. But in France they make other averas, but it happens at the same time, you know. So maybe it's also anti-Semitism. And in South Africa they make entirely other averas, but it's also just Tagidli. That's a normal way of thinking? No. That's not the normal way of thinking. When the anti-Semitism is going over the whole world, there's not one place on the globe which is safe from that. That means that the whole existence of the Jewish nation is under attack. Okay? Only we in Eretz Yisrael, we are suffering from that in a very tangible, gufnistic way. It's a danger of life. Over here in America, it's a different danger. But everywhere there is a danger waiting for the Jews, that their existence is under attack. So we have to come to terms. What does it mean to be a Jew? Yeah? What does that mean? Where is my Jewish identity? That is the question. Now, so we have to think about that. Most probably, and I'm sure, not only most probably, but I'm sure that there are a lot of different aspects you could put in. I want to only focus on one. And one which is really from the beginning of the creation of the Jewish nation. That is that the Jewish nation had a feeling or had an attitude to reality, that the reality has a future. That is what Moshe Rabbeinu came to the Jewish nation and said, Eke asher eke. There will be something. Eke means that is a future term. That's a Shem Hashem. But the Shem Hashem means future. I will be. There will be something. There will be. They were caught in Egypt in the worst case scenario. It was like a concentration camp for 80 years. It was terrible. And it's unbearable, you know. They killed and whatever they did there, according to Chazal, it was a real concentration camp in Egypt for 80 years, you know. And then Moshe Rabbeinu comes to them and tells them, you will get out of here. So that Moshe Rabbeinu told the Borei Olam when he spoke with him, he says, they won't believe. Because they are already 80 years caught in that disastrous situation. And they will tell me that, you know what, I go out of here, and what do you tell me? My grandfather was born here. Yeah. No, it was not 4 years concentration camp. No, it was 80 years. No, 80 years. Shmonim Shana. Concentration camp for the Jewish people. 80 years. And they will tell me my grandfather was born here. Why should I get out? That's the reality. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu said. They won't believe. And Hashem told him, no, they will believe. What will they believe in? They will believe that despite all of the terrible things happening to them, despite that, there is a future. They will be going out and there will be a different thing happening in the future. That is the basic ingredient in the Jewish nation, that there is a future. That the reality, the way it is not the end. The reality, the way it is a place which definitely has to change towards a future reality which is different than the now reality. That is what the Jewish nation brought to the world. We don't have to get confused. We are living in a Western civilization, and the religions of the Western civilization are all taken from the Torah. So they also speak like this because they took it from the Torah. Yeah? But when you go to the Far East, where they were not influenced from Torah, their religions, they don't have that ingredient. You have to live in harmony with the nature. You know, that is the Far East thing. There is no future there. You don't have to change anything. You have to be able to accept reality the way it is and live in harmony with that. Once in a while you call that meditation. So I don't want to attack meditation, then people will get nervous about that, but meditation is a thing which is really strange to the Jewish nation. It's a strange thing, because you live only in acceptance of the reality, you know. I can't make it in front of you, otherwise you wouldn't see me. I have to sit down on the ground and then make like this or something like that, close my eyes, and I breathe in, and then I breathe out, and I'm so happy, and I'm so in sync with my present stage that I don't think about anything else. That means there's no future there. There's no future. Why future? You just have to live the present to a full extent. That's what you have to do. So that's a very intelligent way of reacting to the world. People have a benefit out of that. I'm not saying no, but it's not the Jewish way. The Jewish way, you accept the reality with that the reality has to change. That is the Jewish way. That's why on every single organization where they want to change the world in a certain way, every single organization, there's a Jew on the board. Everyone, is it environmental? Is it something? When you want to change the world, there's always Jewish people there, because that is the basic ingredient of a Jew. The basic ingredient of a Jew is Eke Asher Eke. There will be a reality which is different than the present reality. That is the point of the Jewish nation. Yeah? So that is the part of the Jewish reality. And now, the Torah says, I have a problem with the Jewish reality. I have a problem with that. That's why the Jews are under attack. That's why there is an existential problem going on by us, that the Torah tells us, you have a problem. You are not living your existence in the right way. Now, you could take that, and I don't want to do it here, but you could take that in a way which is simply a little bit impersonal. You could say, the main point is that I have to believe that even though we are stuck with the anti-Semitism, I can't go into details because I don't know how to say that in a modern way, but even though it's over here on a Kurdish, but I may say that there is a higher, you call that higher education, I don't know what that means, but the institution of higher education, which is called Harvard University. That's one of the most prestigious universities. And there was a dean there. She was a lady. I don't know how to say it in these days. Once I knew, and now I don't know anymore. But there was But she had to go. She had to quit. Yeah? And now who is instead? A Jew. A Jew. So the situation got worse. The anti-Semitism got worse, man. It's not better. It's much worse. Because now the Goyim say, do you see, the Jews want to conquer the world, and they pushed out this lady, and they put the Jew instead. That for sure. I mean, you have to know 1 and 1 is 2. That is what's happening. The Beroilo makes it much worse. Now you can say, okay, we are Jewish. We don't know how. We don't know how to get out of that mud with the Hamas. We don't know how to get out of that mud with anti-Semitism. But I believe that the Beroilo will find the way he found also by Kriyas Yamsuf, he'll find a way that the problem will be solved. This is impersonal. I don't think, I think very much you have to believe like this, but I don't think that's the work. There is much more personal work going on. The basic ingredient of a Jewish nation is that there is a future. Now, I want only to illustrate that in 3 places. Only to give an idea, what does it mean you have a future? What does it mean that the Borei Olam has a problem with that? I don't want to be personal. I think over here in Queens, I even can't say that because you over here are not so contaminated with that. But I was visiting places once in a while in other parts of the tri-state area where you enter a house and this house, you need 2 servants in order to open the door. But it's so heavy, you can't really push the door. Mahogany for... Wow. Unbelievable. Does that guy believe in a future? Do such people believe in any future? Or do they think the present state, that's it. We reached our destination. You lost your Jewish identity. You lost it. Because the Jewish identity means there is always a future. I just heard that someone explicitly told the host, which I was living there in Passaic, that they built a nice home with a swimming pool, and then she told the host, the lady of the host, this woman told her, when Mashgiach will come now, it will be a very expensive mistake that I have built this house. That's what she said. The Borei Olam has a problem with the Jewish identity. No. You always live towards something which will change. And we lost that. We want to have a reality, even a gufnistic reality with us, which that's the final place to be. That is the real thing, That's it. Okay, well, you have to change because the furniture, after 10 years, you have to change the furniture. But the attitude towards life is, that's it. And we think, now, over here in Queens, you don't have that. But deep in your heart, you think, there's simply no space, One house next to the other. But it would be a good idea, It would be a good idea. We can't do it because it's technically impossible, but it would be a good idea. It's the worst idea in the world. You would throw out your Yiddishkeit, the Jewish identity, out of the window. You don't want to accept it. No. Because the Jewish identity is that there is future. There's not only hope, you see. That's a very shallow way to say it. There is hope. Hope you need when the present is inedible. But the future is, when the present is edible, there is also future, Rebbe. That's what the Jewish nation is about. Not because the present is edible, that's it. No. We leave that space. Do you see that the Borei Olam tells us, Rabbi Sai, your Jewish identity is under attack. Your Jewish identity is about to leave the reality, You see that? Now, it's not only in this round. I give you another one. I give you another 2. I do have a son. My son, my 4th son, I think is the person which I know. I can't really say the, because there are a few, but there are only a few people in the Jewish nation which I know, which are able to learn the way he is able to learn. You don't find people like that. You do not. Yeah? And it is a real desire to understand things deeper and deeper and deeper. I don't know, you don't know the scenery so much, but I tell you only that he learned ribbis. Ribbis is a difficult thing. He learned ribbis from the beginning till the end with one of the best koilelim which are existent for that. It's Gershon Kain. He knows how to learn like not too many people, and he learned that for a whole year and a half. That's the way for a year, I think, they learn ribbis. That's a whole miktzor. And in the end of the year, he wanted to learn it again because it said, now it's a good time to learn that again. We just finished ribbis. Now we can learn it for real. And he was so disappointed that in that kollel, there was no one willing to do that with him, and he was so disappointed. Not one guy wants to learn that thing again. I can't understand. So that's the type. What is his profession now? He has a profession. You know what he is? He is a Rebbe in elementary school, 3rd grade. People ask me, are you happy with your son? Are you? It's a catastrophic situation, no? You don't believe in a future, you see? That's why it's so difficult, nearly impossible, to take a young man out of the kollel and put him in some melamdes or something else, because he thinks what I am moving for is a stelle, you call that, or a position which gives me the comfort that I can be there till I am buried in some cemetery. I have to have my end position now. So below 8th grade, I don't know, or 12th grade, or below a Magishir in Yeshiva Gdol in Beis Medrash, I won't leave Koil. Why not? You don't believe that things can develop? You don't believe that there is a future? You will learn something about education, and you will grow in education. Perhaps you will have a yeshiva yourself, and you will be educating others, but you have to go for that. There is a future. We lose the future. That is the argument of people. That's right. The argument is always like this. I can't do it because it's not what I want to do. You're for sure not. I don't want that my son should be stuck till age of 80, 3rd grade Rebbe. You know these people which they are 3rd grade Rebbe, they're already hitting 80 and they're still 3rd grade. No, shkoyach, no. He doesn't want it, I don't want it. But there is a future. You don't believe in it. You don't go for it. When we do something, you feel you are stuck. No, there's a future. Things are developing. Good things are developing. It's not, you see that shallowness, that unbelievable distortion when you say it's about hope. It's not about hope, it's about future. It's unbelievable. Hope is narrowing that down to a place where things are a disaster. No, the Jewish nation is not only hoping when there is a disaster. The Jewish nation has future whenever things are working, but this future is a development. Things will be different. Even good things will be different. For sure. We don't do that. We lose our Jewish identity, you see. It's not only in Gashmias, it's also in Ruchnias. I'll give you a third one. I only can give from my own family, I have my oldest daughter. She is married and she was an excellent girl. Excellent is not really the expression. It was an exceptional person. Also in a personality way, that's what people said. And she never had a mark lower than 100, that was not existing. She had an unbelievable good head, Of Yiddish sagt man, a Schotze nicht kein Jingel, It was a pity she's not a boy, because she has an excellent head, an excellent head and a very good looking person. And she was also gifted in piano playing. She played the piano with the orchestra. Not only made for Elisa, No. No, she played piano with the orchestra. So very, very multi-faced person, and she was the Spitz, when you can say, one of the best girls. And she got engaged to someone which he is coming from a divorced family. The father is very interesting. Let's put it like this. My Mechut is a very interesting person. And the mother is not frum. And the grandmother was the world's expert in Feldenkrais. You know what Feldenkrais is? Yeah, Feldenkrais. That's a sort of yoga, you know. It's like a sort of yoga, and she was stockfrei. She came from Kovno, not from Slobodka, from Kovno, you know, from the other side of the bridge. And they were maskilim since ever, you know. That was a grandmother. You know? And then when my daughter got engaged to the boy, the girls asked her in her face, didn't ask behind her back. They asked her in her face, what? Heuke was in English, right? Hunchback. What hunchback do you have? And she says, I have none. So why did you make that shidduch? Because he's a person which wants to grow. No. No. You do not understand in shidduchim. No. That's a wrong approach, you know. I want to have, in America, I don't know, Kamenetsky. I want to have Soloveitchik. I want to have good names. Growing, not growing. I want to be. I don't want to grow. I want to be in a good family. You want to grow? Grow. Why growth? I want to enter the perfect framework, you know. You lose your Jewish Ribono de Kol Almein. You lose your Jewish identity. You're just about to lose it. Jewish identity means future, development, change. That's what Jewish identity means. Eke asher eke, there will be another reality. No. All what we want to land somewhere where things are 100% in the way which has to be, you know, in the expected way. That's called a loss of Jewish identity. So, do you see, when you look at it like this, you do understand that the work we have to do is, for sure, you have to help people which are in distress, for sure. For sure, you have to deal with the symptoms. There are symptoms. Every disease has symptoms. And when you are, as a person which is a medical doctor, you know that most of the patients in the hospital are dying because of the symptoms. There is only, I think there is mistoma, only a 3%, which make you the favor that they really die out of the scheurisch of the machle. That's what Streisach called. The machle caused that the intestine was closed, or the machle caused that the heart was standing still, but it wasn't a disease in the heart. The disease was somewhere else, but most of the patients go away from the world like this. For sure you have to deal with the symptom. For sure. You have to deal with the symptom, and you have to encourage the people which deal with the symptom. That's a very important thing. But this is not the wake-up call, Rabbi Isai. It's a worldwide wake-up call. Don't be deaf. The Torah speaks to the whole world about the Jewish nation. He doesn't speak only in the Otef Aza. No. Mamish not. There are terrible symptoms happening, which we have to deal with them. And you have to support that. But when I support, and I raise money, and I pay money for those people, and I even send packages with food or whatever it is, all very important. I don't deny that. But when you think that is the answer to the wake-up call, excuse me, you are deaf. You don't hear the voice. The voice is much more global. The Jewish identity is under a threat. So our answer has to be that we have to do something about our Jewish identity. No? What you are screamed at, that's what you have to work on, no? There's a push, you know? And there, this is the tricky point. You can't have identity through a schus. Doesn't work. You will not be rewarded an identity. This is above reward and punishment. It's above that, you know? It's above. I can't reward you to give you an identity. No, the identity is deeper than that. That's what I meant in the beginning. Jewish identity is much deeper than Torah mitzvahs. Torah mitzvahs, what we have, that's a part is that we have schuyas, we will be Shema Loshen Hore, very important, we will learning more, everything very important. But that doesn't hit this very deep level of what means to be Jewish. Because a Jew means something deeper than Torah mitzvahs. You see that by Yetzias Mitzrayim. That the Jewish nation was created and they had definitely a Jewish identity, even though they were Reshoim Gdoilim in the eyes of before Matan Torah. This is something unbelievable. I don't know whether you once thought about that. It's something unbelievable. To be a Rosh Godel without Matan Torah, you have to be pretty versatile in Rishes, you know? Ja, darf sein ein ganz gute Rosche dort, you know? Reshoim Gdoilim, without Matan Torah. You know, that needs, you have to be a Balkishon to do that, you know? But they were Reshoim Gdoilim, without Matan Torah. They didn't eat chaylev, no. They were Reshoim Gdoilim. But they had a Jewish identity. They davened because they believed in a future. That's why they davened. They davened because they believed we can go out of here. Things can change. Otherwise, davening has no sense, you know. That's what they believed. That's the Jewish identity. I told you here only one little piece. Most probably, there are other parts of Jewish identity. What is that? What is this deeper level in your soul, which is beyond or deeper than the Kiyum Torah mitzvahs, which that defines you as being Jewish? Yeah? And on the back of being Jewish, you are making the mitzvahs. Yeah? So this is it's a whole sugya. Of course, it's a whole sugya. Yeah? It's a whole sugya because of this background. I only tell you that because I feel I have to tell you something which makes that more broad. Perhaps I make a mistake now to tell you this, but only you know that when you learn, for example, the Nefesh HaChaim, or you learn also others for him, whatever you want. All these big people, they said that Kiyum Mitzvahs will bring the Shechina down, or Kiyum Mitzvahs is making a tikkun olam, the way you say it's not today you can't really say that. The secular people who use that. But that's what the Nefesh Chaim says, that's what all this forums say. And you always think it's something, you know, very lofty. No, that's because of the background, you know. The background is that the world has to change. And now you're obligated in mitzvahs. You know what they do? They change the world. That's a Nefesh HaChaim. You see? What do the mitzvahs? They change the world. It's nothing spooky about that. It's nothing lofty about that. It's simply the most simple, the most basic thing in being Jewish. That the world will change. So our mitzvahs is also not only doing our duties, they cause the world to change. That's a Nefesh HaChaim. The whole Nefesh HaChaim goes about that. So I think that is a part of Jewish identity which we have to focus on. Whenever the problem is in your identity, let's say hishtadlis, when you want, whatever you say, the tipping point that things could be better is now not depending on how much and how many people are there. Identity is not a question of quantity. Identity is always a question of quality. So when I myself, I work on that I should be more Jewish, I am dealing with a tipping point of this whole thing, because that's what is wanted. It should be more Jewish identity over here, more. And when I work on that I really believe, and not only believe, I really work in a way that the world is not a place to stay. It's a place which will be different, which I can't, in a Gashmistic way, in a personality development way, in looking at my children and looking at what do I want from life. It's always with a grain of that things will develop. Things will be different. When I am able to work on that and to create something like this in me, which has practical consequences, not only this unpersonal belief that you believe that it could be that things are different, only you are working on that. I think then we did a big contribution for the answer of this quest, or of the Taino, the quest of the Beroilom, which he is telling us. There is an existential problem with the Klal Yisrael. So let's think about our Jewish existence, how the Jewish existence can be different in a way which makes us more Jewish. That's what I wanted to say. You see, I want simply to take also this thinking process, which today it goes on. We have to think about the current situation, and it's a very narrow thinking process. You make the picture very narrow. I think the picture is much bigger than this narrow picture, and we have to deal with that, because that is what the Beroilom tells us. I hope that was good for you. That's not so much a sichas chizuk, the way I was announced. When you know me, I am not so much into a sichas chizuk. That's not my thing, because chizuk always means that you know what you have to do. Only you are lacking fuel. So I give you a little bit of fuel in order to do what you already know, what has to be done. I'm much more much more favorite thought for me is that we don't know what has to be done. So let's think what has to be done, because something new is demanded from me. So it's not so much a chizuk, I understand that. Perhaps you go out and say, now Leuchter really discouraged us, no chizuking at all, because what shall I do now? What would you want? What? Ma tachlis, yeah, that's what you ask. So I do not know. When it's a question of identity, so I can't really say ma tachlis, but I think the three pictures I gave, one of Kashmir's, and one of your personal development, that is with my son, and one of the way you look at the education of your children, that was my daughter, the way you look at that are very practical illustrations. I think there's no lack of practicality there. You have to find your own way, because it's your identity. You see, it's not my identity. I don't know. It's your identity, but you have to do something about your identity as a Jew. Ad Khan, thank you for listening. Hopefully that was good for you. And we should all be really here only good psuras. And this situation should turn for the better. But I think it turns for the better when we answer the call. Then we have a hope that the situation will turn for the better. Ad Khan.